Now at 10, Miami, Oklahoma hosts a town hall meeting to discuss the upcoming state vote on recreational marijuana. Plus, Pitt State hosts a panel discussion on diversity. And a death investigation in Galena, Kansas might take longer than usual. We'll have the latest.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Oklahoma voters next week will decide whether to legalize recreational marijuana in the state. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Now, currently marijuana is legal in Oklahoma only for medicinal use. To give residents a chance to learn more about the proposal, the city of Miami, Oklahoma tonight hosted a town hall meeting. It featured a 6-person panel with people on both sides of the issue, including local physicians and law enforcement members. Supporters include the operator of a dispensary, but some opponents believe the wording of the proposal leaves too many questions unanswered.
Maybe if we can work on it a little bit better, maybe if our legislators are willing to talk with us and answer some financial questions and how it's written, and that would be a better start. But I feel like I'm a no.
People able to try it out on recreational first to decide if they want to get their medical card for something a little stronger to get off opioids or something like that. I mean, that's what we're in it for.
That statewide election is going to be in 1 week on the 7th. Pittsburgh State University is celebrating how diversity impacts campus life. KOAM's Amber Jenkins joins us in the studio.
Thank you, Dow. PSU is hosting events all week during Diversity Week. I spoke to student government and faculty during a diversity panel. Pittsburgh State University's Multicultural Department of Student Government is hosting the first faculty diversity panel to let professors share their experiences on adjusting to a new culture.
Diversity is a strength anywhere. If we have diverse faculty, the students can see somebody who is successful or one who looks like them.
Professor Jay understands college students are curious about different cultures and lifestyles.
Sometimes they think I'm Indian. I look like somebody from the Indian subcontinent, but I specifically tell them, yes, I belong to that geographic area, but I am from Sri Lanka.
Pitt State is proud of the diversity within the student body. A diverse student body thrives off the inclusion of the faculty.
They look like the students, and I think that's one of the things that students look for is they can go to professors that look like them and feel comfortable talking to them. And
even in subjects like math, professors try to acknowledge how diversity impacted their field while teaching.
A history of math is one area. I don't teach it, but you can bring women who contributed to math, African American women, African American astronauts, computer scientists, all sorts of diversity into the classroom.
The different perspectives adds to campus life. After all, Professor Jay only expected to teach 1 semester at Pitt. That was 25 years ago.
I decided to stay, so I've been here for a long time now.
PSU is holding other events highlighting diversity throughout this week.
And Amber, I understand the event tonight covered more than just racial and cultural diversity.
Yeah, they're very inclusive. In fact, they brought up people with disabilities, people who served in the armed forces. They really wanted to express that everybody at PSU have a different walk of life. And at PSU, they want to not only celebrate it and acknowledge it, but they want to use it in a way to make learning more exciting and more fun just on campus.
Sure was interesting and informative.
Very.
Amber, thank you. Freeman Health System is giving patients a new way to check into their appointments. The new online system will automate appointments through a patient's phone or computer by reminding them of upcoming appointments and allowing them to confirm or cancel with ease. Officials say this new system will save patients a lot of time, but they have to get through some obstacles first.
So the only way for Freeman to be able to do this is that we have to have the community or the patient's permission to text them or to email them. So we've got our offices calling those patients right now and saying, hey, do you give us permission to text you? And we want that.
The new system will be available at all Freeman doctors' offices and clinics. Authorities today rescued 41 dogs from a Newton County home. The Missouri Humane Society received a call from the Newton County Sheriff's Department to rescue the dogs from a residence on Iris Road. The owner realized that she was no longer able to provide the necessary care for her beloved pets. She called the sheriff's office for help. The Humane Society found the dogs were not abused or neglected.
Like I said, it was strictly a matter of she had some dogs, they bred, before she knew it, they bred, and all of a sudden she had 40-some animals. It's hard to find a home for an individual, for an individual to find a home for animals like that.
The Missouri Humane Society team took the animals to their headquarters in St. Louis. The dogs will receive medical treatment before being placed in foster homes or adoption centers. As spring approaches, the Joplin School District wants to remind area residents that community safe rooms will be open at several locations. It's in case of tornado warnings or when tornado sirens are activated. If warnings or sirens happen during school hours, students and staff will receive priority for safe room occupancy.
We're treating it as it's no different than if a school, if there's a tornado warning that happens during the weekend, we would still open up the safe rooms across the district. So we're treating West Central the exact same way.
The district says while all school buildings in the district include safe room locations for students and staff, not all school buildings include community safe rooms. To find a full list of community safe rooms, download the KOAM News Now app. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a great day for us today. Plenty of sunshine, a little bit on the breezy side, but our temperatures really got up there. In fact, we pushed record highs. Record is 78. We made it to 74. We started at 43. Normal high is 54 degrees. We've had pretty much clear skies. We do have some thin clouds, which are starting to develop across the region. We are going to see mostly cloudy skies as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Most of us are sitting into the 50s. We'll drop back into the mid-40s later on tonight. We've kind of had brisk southerly winds all day long. These are going to switch around to the north as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So that's going to drop our temps just a bit as we go into tomorrow. We'll drop back mid-40s, back to 54 by 10 a.m. So 60s tomorrow, thunderstorms Thursday. We could get some heavy amounts of rain, even a little bit of snow mixing in. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Authorities say identifying the person found dead in Galena yesterday might take longer than usual. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation says the body found yesterday afternoon was the, quote, badly decomposed remains of a man. The body was in a field near 11th and Wood Street. Investigators say identification is expected to take longer than in typical cases due to the condition of the remains. They're not saying anything about a suspected cause of death. An autopsy is scheduled. A Jasper County, Missouri man learns his sentence for sexually abusing a 14-year-old. 41-year-old John Shutters of Joplin is sentenced to 2 consecutive 99-year terms in prison. He was originally charged with statutory sodomy and first-degree child molestation in 2020. A jury found Shutters guilty on 2 counts of statutory sodomy. Authorities investigating the cause of a mobile home fire in the Carthage area last night might have a big challenge because there's not much evidence remaining. The fire destroyed that mobile home at 1845 West Mound Street. The fire was reported around 8:30 p.m. The Carthage Fire Chief says there were no occupants and no injuries. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office is assisting with that investigation. Coming up, the House votes on a Biden administration rule for retirement investments. We'll have the decision. Plus, a special House committee focused on China holds its first hearing. Conservative justices holding the Supreme Court's majority seem ready to sink President Biden's plan to wipe away or reduce student loans held by millions of Americans. In arguments lasting more than 3 hours today, Chief Justice John Roberts led his conservative colleagues in questioning the administration's authority to broadly cancel federal student loans because of the COVID-19 emergency. Loan payments that have been on hold since the start of the coronavirus pandemic 3 years ago are supposed to resume no later than this summer. The Republican-controlled House has voted to repeal a Biden administration rule for retirement investments. One Democrat, Representative Jared Golden of Maine, joined Republicans in voting for the measure. The new Department of Labor rule would force money managers to weigh climate change and other environmental concerns when they make investment decisions. The bill now heads to the Senate, and it's unclear if it would have enough votes to pass there. A new congressional committee focused on China held its first public hearing today. The goal, to identify the threats from the Chinese Communist Party and come up with solutions. Reporter Skylar Henry is in Washington with details.
A House Select Committee focused on national security threats from the Chinese Communist Party held its first hearing Tuesday night.
We may call this a strategic competition, but it's not a polite tennis match. This is an existential struggle over what life will look like in the 21st century.
The bipartisan committee is hoping to pass several bills and reshape America's attitude toward China.
The CCP is counting on us to be divided. We must rise to the occasion and prove them wrong.
Former advisors to President Trump warned against appeasing Beijing any further.
China's communist leaders are masters at disguising their true intentions.
The committee made a point to distinguish between the Chinese Communist Party and the Chinese people. Human rights advocate Tong Yi was arrested in the 1990s for disturbing social order and sent to a labor camp.
Chinese people fundamentally are not different from the American people. They all want more freedoms.
The panel is expected to ask U.S. businesses, including Disney and the NBA, to testify about their relationships with China.
Big tech, Hollywood, sports leagues, retail legends all say the right things in America, but are silent in China, bending the knee to the CCP.
Gallagher hopes to eventually bring the committee to Taiwan, the crucial island that's contributing to the rising tensions between the U.S. and China. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Tomorrow, a separate House committee is expected to move a bill forward that would allow President Biden to potentially ban the app TikTok. U.S. officials are concerned that its Chinese-based parent company, ByteDance, could be collecting Americans' personal data. With Russia's war in Ukraine now in its second year, Defense Department officials were called before both the House and Senate Armed Services Committees. Today's hearings focused on how the U.S. government is keeping track of taxpayer money and military equipment provided to the Ukrainians. House Republicans are expressing concern that money earmarked for military, economic, and humanitarian assistance will end up in the wrong hands. A little bit later, the Kansas City International Airport opens today. We'll take a look at its features.
Plus, we're tracking a storm system moving in on Thursday with some heavy amounts of rain. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice day for us today. A great day, actually. We went into the mid-70s. We had quite a bit of sunshine, a little breezy. It's been a very nice evening. You can see Jupiter and Venus outside as they are getting close to their conjunction, which occurs tomorrow night. But overall, we've had a nice 2-3 day stretch of some pretty good weather. Nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. All right, look at this. 70 yesterday. We went well into the 70s for highs today. We should be topping out mid-50s, so this is well above where we should be. Clear skies right now. We do have a few mid and upper level clouds increasing western counties, but in general clear. 56, humidity is at 39%. You can see those mid and upper level clouds kind of picking up. Now we are going to get a lot of clouds tomorrow. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies, but we are going to stay dry. There's a weak wave passing just to our south, but we will stay on the dry side. So we are mainly tracking this storm system out across the western third of the country. Big upper level low, and the track of this low is going to tell us exactly what we are going to see as we go into Thursday and Friday. And that track still a few little question marks around it. All right, day planner, it's 49 at 7, 59 by noon. Cooler, but a nice day, 62, but you can see we have a lot of clouds as we go through tomorrow. So prior to this system on Thursday, we look okay. Mostly cloudy skies as we go through the morning hours into the afternoon. Most of us upper 50s to near 60 by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, lower 60s. 62 in Stockton, 64 in Anderson, Veneta 66, Chanute up to about 62 degrees. Tomorrow night, we briefly clear out, and then here come the clouds again as we go into Thursday morning. Mid to late morning, we'll start to get some scattered thunderstorms that pop up and push through the region. And then here comes a much bigger batch. Look at this, 6 p.m. Some of these storms are going to be severe, mainly to our south. I think just south of our viewing area, but we are going to get some really strong storms in here and some heavy amounts of rain Thursday evening into Thursday night. Once we get past midnight Thursday night, we get on the back side of the system. Now we just get persistent, moderate to heavy rain as we go into Friday morning. So periods of rain across the region. Now, you can see a little bit of blue mixing in here, depending on where that upper level low tracks. If it tracks a little farther north, even 50 miles, it's going to pull in more cold air and we'll get a mix of snow. If it stays current track, we're just going to get a little bit of snow mixing in, but definitely heavy amounts of rain. So we still want to watch that over the next couple days. Rain could be pretty heavy, especially along and south of the I-44 corridor. I would say in general across the region, 1 upwards to 3, if not 4 inches of rain, which could cause some flash flooding issues across the area. All right, 62 tomorrow, 58 on Thursday, 46 on Friday. Those showers and thunderstorms. We are going to make Thursday and Friday alert days just due to the heavy amounts of rain. A few showers on Saturday. Sunday looks fantastic. And then plenty of rain chances back in for us next week.
Spring is kind of pushing its way in gradually.
Meteorological spring starts tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? Thanks, Doug. Kansas City's new international airport starts today. The first flight took off this morning. The $1.5 billion project took 4 years to complete. The airport is now the largest all-glass airport in the U.S., coming in at 1.1 million square feet. The structure has just one terminal, 2 levels. Departures are on the second floor, arrivals on the first. Nearly 50 eateries, bars, and stores are inside, including 20 local businesses. Still ahead, Freshman of the Year honors for a Pitt State women's basketball player, and the Girard Trojans hit the floor for the first round of the sub-state against Riverton. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more up next.
Well, this week is the opening week of playoff basketball in Southeast Kansas. In the boys 3A sub-state bracket in Girard, we have a good one in the first round tonight, featuring a pair of CNC rivals. And the Girard Trojans welcome in the Riverton Rams. Girard is the 4 seed, Riverton is the 5 seed in the bracket. And Girard came ready to play. Aiden Troike, strong drive and finish in the first. He scores 13 tonight. Then Tommy McDowell, little jab step, pull up 3. Knocks it down. The final seconds of the first, Colton Dressler gets the putback right before the buzzer. Trojans up 18-6 after 1. On the second, Luke Nigaman finds McDowell. Tommy had 13 in the first half, 16 in the game. Girard gets the lead to 31-12 at the break. In the second half, Riverton gets something going. Colton Thomas buries the deep ball. Riverton within 12 going to the fourth. An early fourth, Jamie Richardson, 3 goes down. Rams battle back to get the deficit to single digits, but the Trojans finish this one off. Aiden Damon, little floater. He was big with 10 in the second half, 12 in the game. Then Alex Kester all alone for the easy lay-in. Girard rolls 65-45. They'll face undefeated Galena in the sub-state semifinals on Friday night. The MIAA has released its all-conference basketball awards for the season. On the women's side, Pittsburgh State's Harper Schreiner has been named the league's Freshman of the Year. Schreiner has made a big-time impact in her first year in a Gorilla uniform. She's averaging 10.5 points per game to go along with 6.5 rebounds per night. She's also second in the MIAA in assists with 4.2 per game. The Eudora, Kansas product helped the Gorillas go 17-5 in the MIAA in the regular season. They've earned the number 4 seed in this weekend's MIAA conference tournament.
Anyone can kind of go off any given night, which is awesome to have and be a part of a team where I don't have to really do everything like I had to do in high school. Puts a lot of pressure off me, and so it's been fun to be around.
Usually by about 23, 24 games in, you see a kid kind of start to fall off. And what's really crazy is she has just elevated her game in the last couple, 2-3 games where we're seeing a whole new person as far as being more aggressive offensively, shooting jumpers, getting to the rack. When you look at her stats, she's just gotten better and better with every game.
Schreiner is one of 4 Pitt State women earning all MIAA recognition today. They're all Kansas kids, actually. Tristan Gegg, former Labette County Grizzly, is a second-team all-conference pick.
Corinna Gerber out of Halstead, Kansas is a third-team All-MIAA selection. And McPherson's Grace Pyle is honorable mention All-MIAA. Missouri Southern's Lacey Stokes, not really a surprise here. She's a first-team All-MIAA pick for the second straight season. Stokes is averaging 16 a game this season. That's fifth in the MIAA. She also leads the league in assists with a little more than 5 per game and is third in steals with 2.6 per night. Now, in addition to being first-team All-MIAA, Stokes also on the All-MIAA defensive team. And joining her on the All-Defensive team is her teammate, Maddie Stokes. Maddie's an honorable mention All-Conference pick. Also from Missouri Southern, Chrislyn Jones, Lane Skiles are also honorable mention All-MIAA selections. On the men's side, 5 local guys make the list. Pitt State's Marquis English, he's an honorable mention selection after nearly averaging a double-double. For Missouri Southern, the Lions have 4 guys earn honorable mention honors: Christian Bundy, Avery Taggart, Winston Dessaso, and Vincent Sigmund Jr. And that's it for sports. We're back after this.
We've been on a roll weather-wise for the last couple of days.
Past 3 or 4 days have been really nice. I mean, of course, we had the storm Sunday night, but the days have been great. 62 tomorrow, a lot of clouds, still a pretty good day. Thunderstorms on Thursday, heavy amounts of rain into Friday morning, a few flakes mixing in. But second half of the weekend looks pretty good.
Final sports note.
I give a shout out to the Humboldt Cubs. They beat Neodesha tonight in the first round of Sub-State, and Trey Summer reached 1,000 career points for Humboldt High School.
Good for Trey Summer. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.